Welcome to the Depths of Erendorn monthly development log for August 2022. We'll be looking through the work completed by each department over the last 4 weeks, taking the time to summarise the efforts needed to create a brand new online RPG. Let's get into it, starting with 3D modelling. The 3D modelling team have made impressive progress to the Druid's Tier 1 armour. Taking inspiration from the Druid's lore, the team have added multiple nature-related elements to the design. Using leaf-like motifs and vines creeping up from the wrist guards conveys that the character has a deep respect for the natural setting they inhabit. Once finalised, the team moved on to retopologise the armour, preparing it for the engine and a splash of colour. The natural aura of the Druid continues as the team started to add colour to the protective gear. Using a smooth gradient of vibrant greens to a deep brown conveys the natural cycle of the seasons passing. The palette used within these textures is all colours that could be found within natural dyes, from the forests that the Druids call home. The team would iterate on these designs a couple of times before finalising them and implementing them into the engine. The set piece design team started the month by creating more city prop assets, taking the time to model a chest, wall hanging, cabinet and set of shelves. These assets continue the theme of harsh and sharp aesthetic that is present within the cities of Erendorn. Assets such as these could one day find themselves within grand libraries or jailhouses of the Undercity. Once completed, these assets were implemented into the engine, ready for gameplay. Coming to the end of the month, the team worked on updating the corrupted brazier. Starting with a brand new model, the team set to make the asset significantly more eye-catching within the game engine. The new model would be completed and implemented into the engine, then textured to give it a cast iron appearance. The team would also work on brand new visual effects for the corrupted brazier. These effects will be customizable within the client, allowing the team to have many different events associated with the model. Combining the VFX with the asset gives us a visual representation of how the event will look when it appears to players within the game. The client-side programming team have been focusing on the UI for Depths of Erendorn. The goal is to make a consistent user interface that is simple to navigate for players. The UI has seen improvements in multiple areas throughout the month, such as gameplay improvements, dialogue classes, and general optimization to the core UI. All of these improvements were made to ensure that players can navigate menus easily and understand all the features on their screen. Along with this, the team have worked on improving the login screen for ease of use for players. Additionally, the team has also reworked combat to work in the dungeons and the overworld. Along with this, the world combat grid has been added to show the grid-based combat system in the overworld once combat starts. On the server side, the team have been ironing out some bugs that arose within combat. With these fixes, the team have smoothed out crashes occurring when adventuring. In addition to this, the team fixed an issue that would stop creatures that can be summoned from following the player into the next room's dungeon. Finally, the team have worked on adding new locations for world events and dungeons to the server, opening the doors to combine the open world and dungeons through fluid gameplay. With the open world in its early stages of gameplay, the team has also implemented a dialogue handler to allow interactions with NPCs to be put into place. Using the quadruped rig that we saw throughout the past month, the team have completed all animations needed for the Rhino enemy's gameplay loop, working on movement cycles for the idle, walk, run, attack, damage taken and death. Using slower movements within these cycles convey the strength and weight that the enemy holds. Showing that the Rhino is an enemy players shouldn't get in the way of. The team also saw the return of the skeleton enemy towards the end of the month. With some newly completed visual effects, the team needed to add a new animation. The animation is for the Awaken ability, which will be used when the enemy has taken 3 hits of damage. This movement cycle depicts the skeleton hunching down and then stretching to its full height as the power of the Awaken ability takes hold. The visual effects team have been working on VFX to indicate when events are available in the world. Taking the techniques learned throughout the last few weeks, the team have created eye-catching visuals that will draw the player to the random event. These visuals in-game will go hand in hand with those that will be used on the screen. This will be another type of feedback that will be used to aid players and give them a variety of information as they play. The team also worked on the visual effects for multiple enemies that will inhabit the overworld and the dungeons of Erendorn. Similarities can be seen between some of the enemies and the character classes, making them visually consistent. The visual effects team have worked with the skeleton, spider, jaguar, scorpion, boar and lion man. All of these abilities, once completed, have been added to the engine, ready for gameplay. The audio department have been doing a lot of work behind the scenes, syncing up audio to visual effects within the engine. In doing this, the team has also gained the ability to tweak sounds if they may need. Many pieces of audio will need to be sped up or slowed down, depending on the speed of the animation. This will be a massive help when other developers come to implement them into gameplay. The team has also used primary resources to bring an eerie presence to this audio, which will also give us a representation of how these effects will appear within gameplay. It has been a busy month for the environment team as they begin to implement all of the assets they've been creating over the last 4 weeks. First to be imported and optimised was the hero tree, a smaller point of interest that will guide players around the vast landscape of Erendorn's initial area. The vast oak has a more impressive texture and model due to its eye-catching nature. This will be a feature of the scenery that the team will want players to wander towards and explore. Hopefully, once the players have made it to the hero tree, they will look upon the world and see another area that needs to be explored. One of these areas might be the castle ruins that have now also made it into the initial area of Erendorn. Using the modular kit that had been completed over the last 4 weeks, the team have built up a structure ready for players to explore if they're brave enough. The ruins modular kit gives the environment team a lot of freedom in their structures and will be used for many different types of ruins throughout the world of Erendorn. To finish the month, the team looked to create interesting rock formations across the land of Erendorn. Starting in the Houdini program, a blockout for the rock formations was created. Additional texture was then added, such as the layering of the rock to give it a realistic look, similar to rocks that would be seen near coastlines in our own world. These formations would then be implemented into the engine, where additional colour and shading would be added, before implementing them into the landscape. The new rocks would be used in a range of different environments. The team started by creating a valley. Using the rocks in different orientations gives the team the ability to use the formations repeatedly without making the scene repetitive. Finally, the team created some impressive visuals along the coastline of the initial area of Erendorn using a similar process with larger rock formations. With some smoothing of the landscape around the cliffs, the team has integrated them into the landscape as if they had formed over millennia. Our concept artists have been focusing on a grand colosseum that will be explorable by players adventuring around the cities of Erendorn. Similarly to the arenas in the real world, this structure will house many different floors with lots to explore. The team have created concepts for the main arena, general entrance to the stands, a more luxurious box viewing, and the basement. Taking these concepts, the team will also start blocking out these rooms ready for implementation into the open world. Coming to the end of the month, the team started to work on an extravagant palace that only the wealthiest and most esteemed citizens would be allowed access. Starting the concepting process, line drawings are created to give the team an idea of the scale of the building. Over the coming weeks, the team will plan out the interior of the palace, working on a variety of rooms that will inhabit the luxurious space. That about wraps up this video development log for August 2022. We hope you've enjoyed. Much more work was completed throughout the month that we could not fit into this summary. Following the link in the description will take you to the Depths of Erendorn website, where you can read about more of the work completed by the developers. Also, for daily updates, please make sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Reddit, or join our Discord server. Have a good one, and we'll bring you more next month.